when my husband and I first got married, we had a goal to get out of debt as quickly as possible. And so that involved paying off some student loans and also paying off our house. And so during that time, I found lots of ways to save our family money. So we had extra money at the end of the month to put towards these things so we could reach our goal of being debt-free. At that time, I was still working outside the home. This was before we had children, and I was a nanny for a family, and I actually stayed with that family even after my first daughter was born, and she came with me to work for about the first year, and then I quit and became a stay-home mom whenever I had my second baby, and that's what I've been doing ever since. So we were living on one income, so I had to get really creative to find different ways to save money in order to reach our debt-free goal. And a lot of those things that I did back in the beginning part of our marriage, I still do now. In fact, everything that I'm going to share today, we still do today, but I even did more things like then, like cloth diapering. I didn't have any internet or a iPhone, lots of things in order to save even more money. But the things I want to talk about today are very practical things that I feel like anyone could do that can really save a lot of money. When I started thinking about this video, I did a lot of research and some math to come up with the number that I shared that we save per month. And so the first thing I want to talk about is avoiding eating out and making more of your food at home. So this is something that can actually save you a ton of money. I went on Google and I searched up how much does an average family spend monthly on eating out, and it was a range between $400 and $600. So for me, I went to the higher end and did $600. I guess this really depends on your family size, but if you go out to eat once a week and spend somewhere between $100 or $150 for our family, we can get even closer to that $200 mark when we go out as a whole family. You can see how quickly that amount of money can add up. Now, it can be really fun to go out to eat and do that on special occasions, but if you end up going out weekly or even more than once a week, that can really add up. So one tip that I have for this, especially this time of year when we're going into the warmer spring and summer months. I don't know about you, but we can oftentimes be out longer because the weather is so nice and get home much later because it is light later. And so it can be really hard to think of a meal to put on the table when you're getting home late at night, or maybe you run out of food when you're out for the whole day, or you need extra snacks. And so it is very tempting to even just run through a drive-through. And I have found, even with our family going through a drive-through, it is easy to spend $100 just going through a drive-through. So one thing that I try to do is to always have snacks on hand, like muffins or some type of baked good. I like to always try to have bread made and easy meals so that when we get home late, or if we want to do a quick random day going to the park instead of thinking that I have to run by Jimmy John's or through a drive-through or go out to eat, I can have bread ready. I like to have chicken salad in my refrigerator ready to go. Maybe have some bacon made with some tomatoes or peanut butter and honey, something that's quick and easy so it's less tempting to run through a drive-through or even into the store to buy pre-packaged easy snacks. this rolls right into my next tip that I have. I did some more Googling and I found out that on average, a person spends $30 a month on lattes. Now that might not seem like a big number, but if you and your husband both are doing that, or maybe when you stop, you also get something for your children, that can be another big expense. And so one thing that I love to do to avoid the temptation of stopping and getting a fun drink is to make some of these things at home. I like to keep things on hand like vanilla, maple syrup, matcha, chai, whatever it is that you like to drink or get from the coffee shop. Get those things at home and make yourself a special latte before leaving the house so you can avoid stopping and getting the expensive ones from the coffee shop. I want to take a quick break to tell you guys about today's video sponsor, Element. Element is my family's favorite electrolyte drink. Not only is it super tasty, but I love that Element is made with everything you need and nothing you don't. Element is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited for those that are following a keto, a low carb, or even a paleo diet. It is made with no sugar, no artificial ingredients or flavors, no coloring, it's gluten-free, and there's no fillers. When you sweat, the primary electrolyte loss is sodium. And when sodium is not replaced, it's common to experience muscle cramps and fatigue. Electrolyte facilitates hundreds of different functions in the body, including the conduction of nerve impulses, hormone regulation, how you absorb nutrients, and your fluid balance. Element can help prevent and eliminate headaches, muscle cramps, fatigue, sleepiness, and other common symptoms from electrolyte deficiencies. You guys have heard me talk about Element a ton here on my channel. We have been using Element for several years now, and if you are ready to try it out, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with every order. This is a great way to figure out which Element flavor is your favorite, or even to share it with a friend. So you guys can go to drinkelement.com/ouroilyhouse. That's drinklmnt.com/ouroilyhouse, or you can click on the link down in my description box below to learn more. Another huge thing that we save money on each month is the amount of laundry products that we use. I try to make all of our laundry soap, any fabric softeners, stain removers, scent boosters. I like to make all of that stuff from home, and this can save so much money. Another huge thing is avoiding using your dryer and hanging your clothes up on a clothesline outside. Or in my last home, I had a clothesline, but I hung up everything when I was newly married, and I found that it was really tedious to put little socks and onesies and baby clothes on the line outside. So I had a drying rack in my home that I just kind of put all that stuff on. In fact, when I had little toddlers, they used to love helping me do that. That isn't something I do as much anymore. I do use my clothesline quite a bit with bigger things like sheets and blankets and towels, But that is one thing you can cut out altogether if you're willing to put in a little bit of extra time, is using your dryer. Today I'm making up a powdered laundry soap. You guys all know that I talk about making homemade products a lot on my channel, and the main reason I like to do this is to avoid all of the chemicals and toxins and things that are found in these everyday products that we use. But another added bonus is that it really does save a lot of money. On average, a family spends $177 a year on laundry soap, and I have found a way to make 5 gallons of laundry soap for less than $2, and that should last an average size family 6 months, and so that is $4 a year for laundry soap. So that is something that you're interested in. It is very easy to make. I will link all the different laundry things that I make. They are on my blog, and I will put that link for you guys down in the description box below. Another thing that I love to make is my own skincare and hair care product. Now this one kind of shocked me when I Googled it. On average, a woman spends $897 on hair care and skincare products throughout a year. So that's a big expense, and it's really easy to see how that would happen if you buy special, face moisturizer, maybe some type of hair serum, face serum. All that stuff is so expensive, and it's actually easy to make and very cheap. So again, if that is something that you are interested in making, I have recipes for all the things that I use, plus tons more on my blog, so you guys can check that out at ourlyhouse.com. All right, back to food, as this is one of the biggest expense for most families because, everyone has to eat. We already talked about making things at home, avoid eating out. Those are easy things. But another huge way to save money on your grocery bill when you're trying to eat healthy is to pay attention to the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 list. If you don't know what that is, Google it. When I first got married, I only bought things that were on the Clean 15 list, so I didn't have to buy anything organic. That is really helpful on cutting down on the grocery bill. And another big thing that I do is I like to buy all of our meat in bulk. It saves so much money doing it that way. I have a sister that has a cattle, pork, and chicken farm, and we get all of our meat in bulk from her, and that is a huge saver for our grocery bill. She does ship to select places in the United States, and so I will put that link down in the description box below if you are looking for a meat source. I could talk about this all day, and I'm sure I have several more ways that our family saves money, but I'm just going to share one more, and this is a huge one. The average family spends $166 a month on clothes, and I would say that our family, it's probably closer to like $20 a month because I buy everything secondhand. I have found all the great thrift stores in my area. I have some favorite spots to check for kid clothes. I do this for shoes, for all of their coats and snow gear, and I'll make a list at the beginning of the season with all the things that my kids need. I keep it very minimal, and then I go and I purchase these things secondhand, and this is a great way to save your family money.